Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. As Ava's plan conflagrations, time runs out for Wendy and Tripp, and Abe and Paulina admit a mysterious caller. Lonnie and Chanel come to Paulina's room as she sleeps. Abe relays that there's no update on a possible heart transplant. She's running out of time. Paulina wakes up and sees the delineations Jules and Carver made for her. She asks how numerous grandbabies Chanel and Johnny will give her. Screaming, Chanel points out they just got married. Give them time! Paulina weakly instructs Chanel to tell them about her if she doesn't make it. In the beer tank, Tripp tells Wendy that running out of oxygen isn't their biggest issue, it's the carbon monoxide. Wendy knows they'll be okay. But indeed if they not, she'll deal with it because she's with the man she loves. Who has no way loved you further than he does right now, Tripp says. He knows she'd be in China right now if it weren't for him. She assures him if she had to choose between living 100 times of not knowing him and falling in love with him only to end up in the grave, she'd pick the grave every time. He wouldn't trade anything, moreover. In a storehouse room, two husky men slip barrels labeled ammonia and bleach onto the bottom. A green gas rises. In his cell, Clyde reads on his HUD as an alarm goes off. He smirks. A guard opens Clyde's cell for John and Steve, who wear hazmat suits. After Clyde dresses in one, they head out. In the sanitarium, Lonnie and Chanel leave so Paulina can talk to Abe alone. Paulina says she feels herself slipping down. Abe insists she not talk like that. He wouldn't let her go. She thanks him for giving her the stylish times of her life and makes him promise to take care of her girls. He tearfully promises not to let her down. He weeps as Paulina falls back to sleep. In the tank, Wendy and Tripp express remorse over taking effects for granted, especially their families. Wendy recounts how her parents wanted her to get wedded youthful and have kiddies, but no bone could tell her what to do. But the verity is, she does want to be a mama and a woman. Now, she'll no way get the chance. Tripp takes her hand. Marry me right now. Further Ryan's hope behind the scenes tell all John and Steve bring Clyde to Ava at the heliport. The triad demands to know where Tripp is, but Clyde isn't ready to tell them yet. Ava pulls a gun. The men who ditched the chemicals back her up with their own munitions. At her sanitarium bedside, Abe strokes a sleeping Paulina's face. In the sanitarium lobby, Lonnie and Chanel cry together over the possibility of losing their mama. Chanel can't believe that their awful mama is dying when terrible people get to live. Lonnie says life isn't fair. But if they lose her, they'll have each other. They'll be the fierce, important women Paulina has shown them to be. As Paulina sleeps in her room, Abe wishes he could flash back all the times they had together, but rather, he gets to fall in love with her each over again. He understands if she's too tired to fight and promises they'll try to get on without her. They'll take care of each other just like she'd want. A white light glows over Paulina as Abe grips her hand. Further details on Billboard's Women in Music Awards in the tank, Tripp hypercritically gazes at Wendy. He grips her hand near his face. At their marriage in the tank, Tripp tells Wendy that for the first time in his life, he feels accepted for who he is. Just dorky, cerebral me. You're my heart, my soul. And in this Jenga game that we call life, you're the piece that I need. Laughing, she calls it corny, but sweet. He vows as her hubby to love her and cherish her with all of his being until he draws his last breath. Wendy calls Tripp her stylish friend. He was her gemstone when Lee failed, and she can lean on him no matter what. They're equals and musketeers and suckers. And now we hubby and woman. She vows to love and cherish him with all her being until her last breath. With gashes falling, they deeply kiss. Further suckers complain about The Voice Season 25 at the airport. Ava tells John and Steve this is where they get off this lift. They suppose this is a big mistake, but Ava says this is the only way she can save her son. She instructs her men to take John and Steve back to Salem. After they re-gone, Ava asks Clyde where her son is. Clyde will call her with the details once he's in the air. That won't work for Ava, who menacingly raises her gun. She won't kill him, but she'll ensure he walks funny and can't have any further kiddies. Goldman grabs her from before and takes her gun. I like his man corridor the way they are, thank you veritably much. In the forest land at night, Clyde nuzzles the important youngish Goldman. Clyde wears his captivity blue denim and Goldman holds a gun. Away, Steve and John ambush Ava's men. Meanwhile, Ava sits shackled to a signpost as Goldman and Clyde make out. Ava begs Clyde to tell her where Tripp is. Refusing, he walks to the airplane. Before Goldman joins him, she taunts Ava that she made sure Tripp is good and dead. Ava screams. Further new character could spell trouble on fire country under the white light in her sanitarium room. A wide-eyed Paulina points at someone standing before them. Abe turns with a look of surprise. In the tank, Tripp holds Wendy, whose breathing is labored. Slightly keeping their eyes open, they agree to marry for real should they get out of there. Their eyes close. Bathed in white light in her sanitarium bed, Paulina gapes ahead wide-eyed. Holding her hand, a surprised Abe turns. A person in a white shirt, with the sleeve rolled up their bicep, stands before them. Coming on Days of Our Lives, an angel visits Abe and Paulina and Ava. Steve and John try to find Tripp and Wendy. Paulina's angel visit brings a phenomenon. Abe's woman gets last nanosecond save. Days of Our Lives reveal that Paulina Price's loved bones will grow decreasingly concerned over her declining health. Although Paulina will accept that it may be her time to go, Abe Carver wouldn't want to lose his woman so soon. Although Abe can't flash back the first chapter of his love story with Paulina, he fell in love each over again in their alternate bone. Now Abe is hopeless to keep Paulina by his side so they can write numerous further chapters in the future. Lonnie Grant and Chanel DiMera also want to keep Paulina around as long as possible, but there'll be some bleak moments where it seems like all stopgap is lost. Thankfully, Days say an inconceivable twist is brewing in Paulina's plot. DOL suckers can anticipate an angel to visit during, so both Paulina and Abe will have this amazing hassle. It turns out Paulina will get the phenomenon that her loved bones have been soliciting for, so some good news is on the way. Once Paulina has further testing done, her cardiology results will be unexpectedly positive. Days spoilers say Paulina will get a last nanosecond save after this angelic caller's pop-up, so she'll have commodity to celebrate along with Abe, Chanel, Lonnie and Eli Grant. Paulina has had a lot of health challenges to overcome recently between her thyroid cancer and the heart problems that followed. Fortunately, Paulina's life is about to take an awful turn toward her recovery, so she'll be relatively thankful. Days say Paulina and Abe will be shocked over this angel's appearance, but they'll feel confident it's the real deal since they'll both substantiation it. Of course, there'll be indeed more proof once Paulina's health suddenly improves in the fate, so Abe and Paulina will surely believe they had a godly visit. The croakers may not be suitable to explain Paulina's miraculous enhancement, but Paulina and Abe will credit this angel with touching their lives when they really demanded it. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Paulina will have an occasion to get her life back on track. Is love enough? Clyde's captivity break, living on a prayer. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Friday, March 8th indicate that Paulina Price's life hangs in the balance. Will the love of her hubby and children be enough to pull her through? John Black and Steve Johnson prepare to break Clyde Weston out of jail. Wendy Shin and Tripp Johnson are living on a prayer now that their oxygen force has been shut off. Will notoriety get to them in time? Paulina Price's time is running short. Days of Our Lives reveal that Paulina's time is growing short. Paulina is staying for a heart now that she's on the transplant list, but it isn't looking good so far. While Abe Carver sits surveillance with Lonnie Price Grant and Chanel Dupree, it seems that Paulina is getting weaker by the nanosecond.